I'd like to turn now and bring in Democratic Congresswoman from Michigan, Rashida Tlaib. She co-authored a formal amendment to raise those direct stimulus checks from $600 to $2,000. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us. So you had a bit of a split screen there. You saw what Gadi was reporting on the millions of Americans and what they're going through, and you had our reporters there on the political side of this. First, let me get your reaction to this last-minute move by President Trump. He was directly involved in the negotiation process through his secretary, Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary. What do you make of this from the president?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to know what's happening in Los Angeles is happening across our country, right, including my district, who really already was in survivor mode before this pandemic and now are just seeing devastation throughout the neighborhood. It's important that we stop playing games with people's lives. This is, the president of the United States, the most powerful person in the country, in the world. And he could make those changes right away and literally picking up the phone and getting folks to line up those votes to make the $2,000 per month a possibility. Getting it to that point is something that he has control over. He can push forward. I'm really, welcoming the possibility of a miracle for many of my families who need that $2,000. I just hope that he's not playing games, that this is not just rhetoric, that he's actually going to make sure that it's possible. I know that myself and many of us House Democrats, we're ready. I think Speaker Pelosi and I had already exchanged messages that we are ready if the Republicans and others are serious about this and taking up the President of the United States offer of $2,000 a check versus the very inadequate $600. I think we're ready to act. And so the ball's in his corner.
Yeah. So to be clear, Congresswoman, right now, in order to get that money to $2,000, the president would have to veto the current bill. Do you want to see him veto that?
No, I think there's actually a different way. That is a separate, I think, conversation that happened. And you all know I didn't vote for it primarily because of all the poison pills in there, but also more importantly, that is the kind of resources that weren't going to last for many of my residents, not even a month. Eviction moratorium ends the end of January. I mean, all of these moratoriums are in jeopardy. And so I think it's really important that we invest, again, having real people's bailout that helps folks right now that are suffering because we haven't acted in 8 to 9 months. What we can do is move this standalone bill. We can get it up to $2,000 in a standalone bill, move it through the Senate, and McConnell can act and send it to the president to sign. We can do that without trying to, bring folks back to fully debate what was passed originally. I think what many of my residents and many folks you can hear them loudly. I think 7 out of 10 Americans want to see more direct payments. And you can see overwhelming support, again, bipartisan support outside of Congress for a $2,000 survivor check versus, again, what we see with this very minimum $600. That's really just not enough for our families.
Let me just, if I can ask you a little bit on the Democrat side of this, 2 points. One, it is expected that Speaker Pelosi's proposal for unanimous consent will fail. There's been some criticism that it's not being put, she's calling for a unanimous consent vote as opposed to just a normal vote. What do you make of that, and what happens then if it does fail?
I mean, I think there's a lot of options. For myself, I'm going to introduce the bill tomorrow. I had an amendment ready to roll. Myself and Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez had authored the amendment. We're going to take that amendment, get it in a standalone bill, and introduce it tomorrow in hopes that, yes, if we have to physically come in and push this forward, I think we should want to. I think many of us want to make the sacrifice of our residents and do what's right. So many of us really were ached. We're in just so much pain to see it go from, $1,200, which was already a compromise, to $600. And again, much of my neighbors, residents have already told me, Rashida, we were counting on $1,200 months ago. Yeah. And you come back, they're coming back with this just little minimum amount. It doesn't work. And I got to tell you, it gives people more human dignity when you can show them that they matter, that government's about them first. It shouldn't be this kind of choice of, we'll give you $600 and these little trinkets of stuff. Right. In exchange, we're going to go help those that don't need it, including corporations and others. Again, those poison pills, to me, are just a slap in the American people. And I got to tell you, people may disagree with me on a number of issues. They do agree with me that we have to put people first in these bills.
So speaking of
$2,000 will get us closer to that.
Okay, so to that point, just because I wanted to ask you really quickly, if I can, Congresswoman, it seems that there's a double standard here because the president says he's asking for $2,000. He comes across and puts himself out there as a populist fighting for the ordinary Americans and says Congress has let people down. You guys, the Democrats, certainly your progressive caucus has been pushing for this $2,000 well before we got to this point. And yet when you do it, you're portrayed as socialist, and there is this desire to say that you're overreaching. And yesterday, Nancy Pelosi called the $600 a significant amount. So explain that double standard. Are the Democrats just missing the mark when it comes to messaging themselves and what they're doing on behalf of the American people?
No, one thing that I think is clear is if President Trump is for real about that $2,000, I hope he's not playing games with folks. Folks are actually excited about it. I think they want to see him actually succeed in this. Even those that may not have voted for him, they want him to succeed in getting this done. For myself and others, I focus on my district. I focus on my district, which again is very, very poor. I focus on getting their needs met in these bills. That's all I can do. People can label me all kinds of things, but if I'm staying rooted in my community and my community is telling me, Rashida, this is not enough. My nonprofit organizations are telling me it's great to have water assistance, but what about water assistance that actually requires these water utility companies to reconnect people that have been shut off from water? We have to do more for people. So all I can do is not criticize my colleagues, is to criticize the institution that allows corporate greed and corporations to again have a first-class seat to the United States Congress versus my resident who can't. We need to change that institution. So again, there can be people first before these folks can come in and take from them. They're already, again, suffering so much. They don't deserve this.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.